Go to the Between Two Dots podcast brought to you by Intention Media Corp. This week we had a really fun episode. Most of them are fun, but this one really blew me away. And it's because it's so unassuming. And what I love about this medium is how fast you learn about someone and how deep you're able to go in a short amount of time. So this week we're joined by David Bradshaw, who is the president of the Calgary Black Chambers and a respected executive advisor and a thought leader with more than 25 years of experience in customers experience, sales, and operations leadership. His career spans financial services, telecommunications, and outsourcing, where he's led large scale transformations that delivered award winning results. A former executive with ATB Financial and ING Direct, now Tangerine Bank, David helped build service organizations recognized as number one in Canada by JD Power and best contact center in the world. He's also the co-founder of Bradshaw Bolton, a boutique customer experience firm, and serves as a strategic advisor to the Realizing Your Potential Association. David speaks on leadership, inclusion, customer experience, and building cultures where people and performance thrive. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I had having the chat with David. Welcome. David, thank you so much for joining us on this family day long weekend. Scheduling issues on my end, but really appreciate you making the time to make it happen.
Not a problem, Hafiz. Anything for you. It's always good to see your smiley face. You're always smiling, like all the time.
You know what? Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
I'm around good people. That's why I've got lots to be happy for, and then lots of gratitude. So it's always been fun to run into you. You and I met through Daniel's private exchange, probably a
yes.
year and a half ago now, right at that hangar.
Uh, yeah, it would have been about 2 years, almost 2 years ago. Yeah,
2 years. Okay, awesome. And you're new-ish to Calgary, right?
newish.
Yeah.
Well, 7, going on 7 years, almost eight
Okay.
years is not newish anymore.
No, you've hit that threshold.
Exactly.
Now you're deep in right now. But let's talk about the early days. You know, we'll talk about how you came to Calgary and got here, but to walk us through like the earliest memories that you have, like where were you born? What was life like growing up?
Ooh, that's a big question. So, where I was born in London in the UK. And sometimes when people think you're born in the UK, like it's all posh and it's full of, pageantry, and they think about the
Mm,
Queen and all that stuff. But I actually grew up in a rough part of the UK, in the East End, Leytonstone.
okay.
And I would say that is probably equivalent to Forest Lawn here
Mm,
without the guns. Uh,
okay.
yeah, so that's the area that I grew up in. And for the most part, like school and having friends was actually pretty good. Um, you just couldn't walk around the street by yourself, because at the time when I was living there, when I was younger, the Margaret Thatcher was in I'm aging myself now. Margaret Thatcher was in power. And I'll be quite honest with you, like racism was pretty rampant.
Mm,
Overt racism was pretty rampant. So I got to experience that firsthand and at a very, very young age.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, did your parents immigrate from somewhere else to London, or
Yes,
were
they
your parents
did.
from there as well
Yeah.
too?
Yeah. So my parents are originally from Barbados in the Caribbean,
Oh, well, okay.
and they emigrated there at a young age. And then they had three boys. So I've got two brothers. One passed away unexpectedly about 2 years ago, so he's not with us
Mm,
anymore, but he's still in my heart.
hmm
Yeah, and that was UK. UK was different. I still remember one good friend from there always used to go over his house, Marios Theocaros, and his two brothers, Philip and Joseph. One of them was like a pretty crazy guy, loves to party. The other one was a straight-laced, very serious accountant.
Yeah.
But his parents were so warm and welcoming. That was like my second family. He was like my really, like when you talk about best friend, where you
Mm,
completely open up to someone and you open up to him. Yeah, Marios, he was my childhood friend.
it's amazing. I'm really sorry to hear about the loss of your brother as well too.
Yeah, I
I
appreciate that.
yeah, and like I can't imagine what that's like,
Yeah.
especially unexpectedly and things like that.
Yeah.
That's super rough. Um, yeah, so life in the UK, like it's funny, like you talk about the pageantry and stuff like that as well too. I feel like watching Top Boy. Did you ever watch that show?
I watch Top Boy. That's my show. So when you see Top
Okay.
Boy, the show
Yep.
Top Boy, that is exactly the environment that I grew up in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty intense neighborhood that they
Yes.
show in that show, and like life in the streets out there looks pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like everyone's doing what they have to survive out there as well.
Yeah, they are, but you could choose your path though. Like you have a
Yeah.
choice, right?
Right.
And I know my parents, they would have killed me if we would have went down that road. They instilled in us to not get involved in that type of activity and
Mm-hmm.
talked about the consequences of doing
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I saw friends got beaten up and stabbed and stuff like that and getting into all kinds of craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I just wasn't um I was surrounded by it, but I just didn't want to be a part of that. That's not how I wanted my life to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always thought there's ways you can earn money or you can make money. I wanted to earn money, not make money,
Mm-hmm.
because you can make money doing anything,
Yep.
illicit or legal. But I wanted to earn money and provide a better life for, my family if I was going to have one. I don't know why, but I was always motivated by having a better life than that. Because I
Mm-hmm.
saw Marios's family, my
Mm-hmm.
childhood friend, his dad owned a dress factory and
Mm-hmm.
a garment factory. And I remember I used to work for him in the summers, and we would deliver all these dresses that he used to make dresses and different types of outfits, and go and buy fabric. So I got to understand the fabric industry a little bit. But the most important thing, I really got to see how hard he worked. So they were
Mm-hmm.
Greek immigrants that emigrated to Canada, but I really got to see how hard his family worked, how hard his dad worked, how hard his mother worked, and actually how hard his brothers worked because they were much older than and me and Marios. And I don't know why, I just really gravitated to that, and I really respected that. And then on top of them really working hard together, like being a family and taking care of one another was really, really important to them. So I got to see some values on
Mm-hmm.
display that really resonated with me.
Yeah, that's amazing when you have that kind of exposure at a young age, and it kind of aligns with your value system as well too. Like many times you have this idea in your mind, but you don't know how it actually happens. But if you see a living example, and then the family aspect of it, and the hardworking aspect of it, and entrepreneurship, and probably owning their own destiny, and you eat what you kill because you have to work hard to make it happen. That's a
Exactly.
great example for a young man like yourself that's looking for a better life as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. What did your
Exactly.
parents do in the UK?
So my mother was a psychiatric nurse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was a tough job. And my dad was a postman, but then he
Mm.
went back to school to get his plumbing license and medical gas installation license. He went back to school and ended up getting those two licenses. So he ended up getting into plumbing and medical gas installations in hospitals.
Yeah, wow. Do you recall your dad going back to school as well too?
I do. I definitely because he came. I remember this the certificate. He got it from the London I forgot the name of it, but it's like it would be equivalent to like Say It,
Hmm.
where they focus in on the trades. And I remember the certificate when he bought that certificate home. I remember looking at that certificate and went, "Wow, he did it! Like
Yeah,
he went back to school."
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So you have some great role models growing up then, it sounds like.
yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Were you and your family, like you talked about Marios and their family being pretty tight? Was your unit a pretty close unit as well?
I would say our family was pretty tight. I had my uncle that lived maybe 15, 20 minutes away, Uncle Owen. He lived in Juniper Court. I still remember the name of the place that he used to live. It looked like the place in on Top Boy, like those council estates. So he
Yeah.
lived over there. So we used to visit them every Sunday, like for Sunday dinner and just go and have Sunday dinner. And the three of us, me and my brothers, like we were very close when we were young. We protected one another.
Mm,
I do remember that, even if, someone was getting in, even if it involved us protecting one another physically, because,
mm,
there were lots, you get bullied in there, people start fights with you and all that stuff. So you have to make sure that you stand up for yourself and protect yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Having a little crew, which is your brothers, that's got to be pretty
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah, that's what we were, a little, yeah, a little crew. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. It's so interesting when you hear about that as well too, especially when you're trying to be on the straight and narrow and do things better, but you're in an environment that, like you talked about, has like a lot of illicit activities, and I'm sure a lot of people that are recruiting and stuff like that as well too. If I'm taking what I've seen on Top Boy as real life, was there, any moments that you found yourself like you talked about earlier, they can go one of two ways. Do you remember any of those like fork in the road moments, or were you kind of always just focused?
No, I was so scared of the consequence of those consequences. It really
Mm,
scared me because I knew what that could lead to. It could either lead to you getting like physically harmed.
yeah.
It could lead to you going into jail.
Hmm.
And I just did not want a part of it. I was just wired that way. I just did not
Hmm.
want a part of it. And I remember there was a group of friends that I used to have, and they used to tease me going out with Marios, because Marios at the time was into soul music.
Okay.
And reggae music was very popular back then when we were growing up. And I remember my friends go, "What are you doing going listening to soul music and hanging out with Marios for?" And I just didn't care what they said.
Hmm.
I just liked his values. He was my friend, and that was it. That's how I became connected with it. So I ch didn't try to worry about what others people's perceptions were about me. I just wanted to remain, I guess, true to myself and just be David.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I figured that out, like so young, but that was just always a part of me. And I I probably do, Hafiz, do that. I think I know what it feels like to be marginalized, kind of
Hmm.
ignored, and not really seen. Um, and I know what that feels like. And I always made a commitment and a promise to myself that I would never allow anyone, like kind of in my environment or
Hmm.
who connects with me, to ever feel that way again, ever.
Hmm.
So because I came from humble beginnings, we didn't have a lot of money. Um, and that's why today, I remember sometimes at work, people go, "How come you know the janitor's name? Like, how come like they're surprised? Oh, how come you're
Hmm.
having lunch with this person?" Oh, just having lunch with them because they're just nice people. I'm saying hello to the janitor
Hmm.
because Jan is a human being just like everyone else, right? So
Yeah.
that's just the way how I kind of operate. Because I always have this philosophy, it costs you nothing to be kind to someone,
Hmm.
but the payoff in terms of how that person feels and how you're able to make that person feel, to me, that's what motivates me because my whole kind of philosophy in life is like, I just want to see people thriving and happy. And
Hmm.
that's what I want to be around is
Yeah.
happiness, and people thriving and going about their lives. That's very, very important to me. And if I could play a role in helping other people thrive, including myself and my family, um, yeah, that's how I kind of go about life because I know what it feels like to not thrive. I know what it feels like to be ignored. I know what it feels like to struggle.
Hmm.
I know what those feelings are like, and I've never forgotten where I've come from or how I grew up. Never.
Yeah. I mean, that's powerful stuff, right? Like you see it all the time for people that maybe haven't struggled or haven't had parents that have worked really hard to get to where they are or whatever, to gone through some of these trenches. And you can tell a lot about people, how they treat others that can't do anything for them. And so when I hear that, when people are asking you, how come you're having lunch with them? That makes me think about that person that's asking you. Like, man, I'm like judging that person right now. Like,
Exactly.
well, what? Why would you
It-
even ask that question? They're just another human being. Like my dad's a mechanic. Your dad was a plumber and did all these things. And my dad also went back to school. I remember him going back to school when I was younger to get other certificates to be a certified technician in Carline or whatever. And my mom went back to school as well too. And you see these things, and it's super humbling to see your folks that are struggling, surviving, bringing you up, and then taking it upon themselves to go do these things.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, janitor, that's just another person doing their thing. And if people take pride in their work, like that is amazing, right? So I love the fact that you're having conversations with anybody and everybody. Um,
Anyone and everyone, because I used to
yeah,
clean washrooms. I used to, work in hockey arenas and mop up the washroom. I used to be what they called was a rink rat
okay,
back in the day and cleaning the ice
all right.
in hockey arenas, and then working my way up to bartending at the events at night, and then working my way up to actually organizing the event, and then working my way up into the tennis to be the person that manages the tennis arena. This was at a community center in Toronto called Malvern Community Center, and
Mm-hmm.
then I ended up being a part-time manager for the entire arena.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah,
Was
so I just kind of watched. I just worked hard and just moved up. And this would have been back in the 90s, doing that kind of work.
okay, amazing. So that's actually a good segue as well too. How so you were obviously a pretty good student. You were afraid of the consequences going around that route. So did you study hard? Did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up? Were you pretty focused that way?
I didn't.
No.
My parents wanted me to be an accountant. They wanted me to stay like in applied sciences.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always told this story, and I'm not ashamed to tell it. But I almost became a certified management accountant.
Okay.
But I was forcing myself to to be an accountant. I was good with numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to get into something in leadership. And I figured, I was told by my parents and told by school counselors that accounting was a good route for you. And I remember working doing co-op for a golf company that manufactured the the golf carts,
Okay.
and I was in accounts payable, and I was looking at all the invoices, and I was seeing, sales managers and sales reps going to Boston. This person was doing some degree. This person was traveling here. This person was doing this, and I was looking at it, and I ended up daydreaming and going, I want something like that where I could travel and get to meet different people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really hated accounting. So I'll get to the point of the story. The point of the story is that in accounting you have to do a trial balance.
Mm-hmm.
My trial balance was always off because I was busy off in some way. And I remember the trial balance was off by 10 cents. And I said to the supervisor, just said, David, your trial balance is off by 10 cents. And I got 10 cents in my pocket. Would that help? And I was being facetious when they did that. And the person went over to me and said, you need to think about another career.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He said, pack up your box and leave, go and grab yourself a beer, do something, but think about what you want to do because you are clearly not interested in this type of work, which was 100% true. I never admitted it to myself, and
Mm-hmm.
that taught me a massive lesson there. Big lesson, big life lesson. One, do not allow people to make decisions about the things that you want to do in life. So don't be a
Mm-hmm.
bystander or a victim and just kind of sit there and wait for life to happen to you. You have to actually make life happen. That's what that taught me. And the second thing that it taught me is that I run hot and cold. I'm I don't know how to coast. I don't know how to fake it. Either you get 100% of me or you get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think, gosh, being so binary, is that bad? Is that a good thing? Ca- But if I'm going to commit to something or do something, I'm going to give you 120% or I'm not in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I can't half-ass things.
Right.
I don't know how to coast. I don't know how to do that very well. And it causes conflict in my mind when I try and do that. And that's what I was trying to do with accounting. I was trying to force my way in, push myself, and I absolutely hated what I was doing. And I was so close to getting my CMA, and I just said, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Um, I saw some of the other people in the accounting, and they looked miserable. They looked so
Yep.
unhappy in their roles. And I just said, I can't spend my life being in a cubicle, being that unhappy. I said, I can't do that. So I ended up switching and moving into marketing, which was more my field because it involved sales, it involved creativity, it involved
Hmm.
interacting with people on in a different way, and that's what I ended up doing. And that's how I
Nice.
ended up getting into sales and customer service and that type of stuff, like helping people.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. It's funny looking back at that. Like one conversation could literally change your entire life's trajectory by forcing you out of a position. It's kind of like getting fired from a job that you're like, thank you, because I probably wouldn't have quit myself. But they almost give you wings, right? And it sounds like that gives you the opportunity now to kind of stay true to yourself, going back to your values, to go ahead and do that. Now, was this all in the UK still?
No, this was in Canada,
Okay.
and the one thing I will say about that supervisor, he was really, really kind when he said that. He wasn't
Yeah.
being cruel. Like you could tell, like he meant what he said to me. He was going
Yep.
like, because he knew I had something.
Right.
Like he knew it, but he said, "This is not for you. You got to figure this stuff out."
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I truly, truly love that. And it's funny as well too, like immigrant parents want you to become doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant, all these positions that provide stability and to think that's going to be the ticket and all that. I had something similar happen to me as well too. My parents wanted
Oh,
me to be
okay.
yeah, my dad wanted me to be a lawyer my entire life, like all kinds of pressure. And I have a degree in political science. I hate politics. I like international politics, but Canadian politics, whatever, it drives me nuts. And I remember going to Moses Rennert. He's a guy that does the LSAT prep classes. And his first question was like, "Why are you here to the class? Half of you, I'm guessing, have like an arts degree, and I had a poli sci degree." And he's like, "The other half of you want to actually be lawyers, right?" And he's like, "If you're not in that one group of wanting to be a lawyer, rethink why you're here." And I remember dropping out that day and telling my folks, same as you. I'm like, I'm better suited for marketing or whatever, and I created an agency after that, and kind of the rest is history. But it's one of those like moments that are really the fork in the road, and someone gives you that kick in the ass to be like, what are you doing? And again, doing it in a nice way as well too, that you actually feel a kindness of like you're actually looking out for me. So I appreciate that,
Yeah,
which
and,
is
and it's very similar story, Hafiz. Yeah, it's
it's
the same
cool.
thing. Yeah, it was cool, and
Yeah.
this is years later, and I could still remember picking up my box and sitting on the corner and calling my girlfriend at the time and going, "Guess what? I got fired from co-op." And she goes, "You got fired from co-op? Isn't that free?" And I go, she goes, "You must have been really bad to get rid of you." And I said, "Yeah." I said I was bad at my job because I wasn't passionate about it. It wasn't that I didn't care. I just didn't have any passion for it.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the result is it looks as though you don't care, and it's time for you to move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So where does the journey take you after that? So you pivot your educational career into marketing, and where was this? What school were you going to?
I was going to, so at the time I was doing a diploma in accounting and finance at
Mm-hmm.
Centennial College, and then I enrolled in the CGA program, the Certified General Accountants program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was working towards. CGA, it was a CGA, not a CMA. It was a CGA at the time.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. So once you did you end up finishing your CGA then?
I did not finish it.
So you dropped out of accounting altogether.
I couldn't take it. I couldn't take another minute of it. So I
Yeah,
ended up studying marketing and finished that up at York University.
amazing.
And then I actually didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to interact with people, so um, I saw an ad for a telemarketing company.
Mm,
Um, and I became a telemarketer selling Bay cards over
nice.
the phone, and I was really good at it. And then they wanted me to do the in-store selling cards, like what you see in Canadian Tire. You see someone
Yeah,
walking around asking you um, um, to promote the Canadian Tire credit card. So I was doing that in the Bay and Eaton's and Simpsons.
Mm,
And I was really, really good at that. I just didn't mind talking to people. I didn't care about the no's.
mm,
I was able to quickly assess whether someone was interested or not by just asking them a few questions
mm,
and making eye contact with them. So if we locked eyes, I went, okay, that's an opportunity to go and talk to them.
mm.
I got really good at that. And then I became a manager, like managing a bunch of the stores with other salespeople. And I said, I love this kind of work, like leading people, helping people develop, watching people succeed. I love this, and that's how it all kind of happened.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like telemarketing jobs and those sales jobs, like they teach you so much about yourself and interpersonal skills. The fact that you have to go up to strangers, like it's one thing to do it on the phone because they hang up and you're like, all right, dialer calls the next person. And I did telemarketing at Scotiabank as well too, and I sold credit cards and insurance. So it's easy to find like, all right, next one, dial it up. But in person, then to go up to people and do that in a mall and continue to thrive, even though some people are saying no, and to have that thick skin to be like, all right, on to the next one. That's incredible life skills that you get, I'm sure. Not only connecting with people, but also just the resiliency of kind of deflecting those no's and finding like your people, right? And talking to those that actually want to have conversations with you as well too. And I love that they saw that in you, and then you started to build it up, and now we're managing these stores as well too. So like, how long were you doing that for?
That would have been for about three years with them. I was doing that for about 3 years. Yeah, it was it was just really really fun work, but but after a while you burnt out because the
Mm,
hours were long and it was just really really hard work. But I still enjoyed it. It taught me to the thing about working in person is it taught me to really observe people and watch how people kind of behave. Like, this person looks unapproachable, or this person looks a bit more approachable. Okay, I locked eyes with this person. So I was able to experiment
mm,
um with things. And sometimes I'll just get someone who is in a hurry and just ask them just so that I could feel that rejection. And I go,
right.
okay, when people are walking like that, they're in a hurry, like they're really in a hurry. They're not running away from you. They've got things to do, so don't bother them.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Like you're like A/B testing everything,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, and like the iterative approach and the way you're approaching people as well too. Like that's the marketing chops back there as well too. Because like when you're selling something, it often is like the cues and the language and are people interested or not, and finding that mix and then kind of closing that deal. That's fun. So did you always make like a game out of it, or was it more so like
I
yeah,
did, and
okay,
I
yeah,
helped other people make a game out of it as
yeah,
well. Too when I was coaching, I just said, "This is just a game. Let's just have some fun with it." If they say no, they're not
yeah,
saying no to you. They're saying no
hmm
to this. It has
right,
nothing to do with you. So that was the first thing I learned is that when people say no to you, no to whatever you're selling or promoting, it's not
hmm
no to you. It's no to the product or service that you're promoting, and do not take that personally.
hmm
Um, and then, then after a while, you get so confident with hearing no, then you start asking, well, may I ask why? Like, why would you say no? And then they'll give you the answers, and then you'll use that information to help
hmm
you when you're speaking
hmm
with someone else. Like you go, yeah, I was just speaking with someone, and they said no because of these reasons. But let me tell you the benefit of why this card would work for you, even though you have the same reasons as this individual. Let me just talk to you a little bit about the benefit.
right. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so funny as well too. Like people's rejections will give you that marketing language for the actual sale as well too. If you're listening and can iterate on that and now turn that into your value proposition or overcome objections before they even say it or something like that as well too.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah, I love the fact that you gamified it. That's so. When did you ever have any moments that you had to talk to yourself? It sounds like you're a pretty confident guy, and it sounds like you knew yourself from a young age as well too. So confidence maybe wasn't an issue. But I know for me, when I went from phone sales to in-person sales, I would start taking a lot of things more personally because like you start getting insecure with yourself or how you look or whatever's going on, all the cues. How would you coach some of these people? It's easy to say don't take it personally, but what were some of the things that you would tell people to kind of not do that?
I was actually got to a point where the nose actually got to me as well. If
Oh
he's the
yeah,
same as you, yeah, like, yeah, where you felt rejected.
yep,
Um, and what I tried to, what I try not to do is like fake it till you make it. I don't like
Mm,
that type of stuff where you have to fake it till you make it. I was trying to figure out like why was I taking it so personally?
mm,
And what I found is that when I did take it personally, it drained on my energy.
mm,
And like the way how you're smiling right now, like you're very approachable. Um, I wasn't sure because I didn't have a mirror, but I know I was what I was putting out there wasn't very positive.
mm,
That vibe, that energy. So I think people can feel that when you're not comfortable in a situation, or you lack the confidence or ability to approach them, people can actually feel that energy from you. So I just had to figure out a way on how to do it. And what I would do is talk with the other team and go like, how are you feeling? Like, talk with other team members and going like, I would ask for help and go like, I'm struggling here. I've had like
mm,
10 no's and one yes. And the rest of the team will go, yeah, well, I remember this person. I can't remember his name, but he actually lived in Alberta and moved to Toronto, and he wasn't highly educated at all. Um, but he was so good with people, and he was the one that helped me with the rejection piece. Like I asked him, like, how are you doing it? Like, how do you do it? Like after like 20, 50 no's, and he would just say to me, it's not it's not you, it's the product. And he would go, just
mm,
watch me, watch the way how I approached him. And I would watch him, and he would get a whole bunch of no's, and then he would get a yes. But he always remained positive and had a smile on his face. And he then asked me, "Do you enjoy what you're doing? Do you like doing this type of stuff?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, if you like doing it, let's have some fun." So I stole
mm.
fun from him.
Nice.
He was the one that helped me create the fun in the job. And yeah, we would have competitions together. Sometimes we would go, well, how many no's did you got? I got like 50 no's, but I got like 10 yeses.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Like A, finding camaraderie in what you're doing. So someone that you can talk to and understand that you're not alone in this and people struggle as well too, and then kind of shadow how they're doing their
yeah.
job, doing it well. Sounds really, really important.
And
And
asking for help.
yeah, totally. I think too many people carry that burden and then they start to internalize all of it, right? It's me, it's me, it's me. Like I suck at this or I'm not meant for this or whatever. But I think
Exactly.
taking it back to that, like it is just a product fit. Product market fit literally is that. It's your job to put this puzzle together. And really it's a numbers game until you find those numbers, right? But you have to be willing to get the door slammed in your face a bunch of times and kind of brush it off. I follow some of these on Instagram. There's like these like sales channels of these young kids that do like insurance calls, and you can see themselves like hyping them up on these like songs, and all of a sudden the dialer comes on, and the guy's trying to sell them insurance, and he only shows the nose because they're like telling him stuff like, "I've told you 10 times to get me off this list," and then he'll turn it off, and he gets up, and it's like, "All right," dancing around. Is like, "Next one." And I love it because it's so funny. It really is a numbers game. And really, I remember even when I worked at the bank as well too. Like all they wanted in a 6 hour shift was like four activities, and that's a lot of calls just to get four events to make it happen, right? So you got to be willing just to go through that. So I love the fact that you had a buddy that you made a game with as well too, and that sounds like fun. It sounds like that can be all the change.
It was, and what it did tell me, what it did teach me again, and I didn't know it was teaching me this. You just don't know
Hmm.
what these moments are doing for you. It taught me how to be confident in a room,
Mm,
especially when I rose up, like up the corporate ladder. And as you rise higher up the corporate ladder, you start to become the only one in the room.
mm,
And what I didn't want to do was carry a chip on my shoulder all the time. And the other thing too is uh like be this victim. I wanted to embrace that I actually embraced that I was the only one. I embraced that
mm,
I was different from anyone else around the table. Like I just
mm.
really just this is who I am. And if you don't like who I am, then I guess we have to part ways. So So
Yeah.
it taught me how to be comfortable with myself in rooms where nobody looked like me, nobody talked like me,
Mm,
and to embrace that difference. And I think other people around the table actually appreciated that
mhm,
because I wasn't trying to make, I was trying to be inclusive with other people as well. Like, I'm just David Bradshaw. This is who I am. Like, hey,
mhm,
I'm a human just like you. Like, let's let, let's get going. Let's make things happen. That's kind of the attitude that I had in walking in being in rooms like that. And
mhm.
I think that served me quite well.
That's amazing.
Despite some of the loneliness and some of the struggles that I had with it, I would say that really helped me. So those moments, those earlier moments where you get rejected and you're experimenting, you're asking for help, you're gamifying, they actually shape who you actually are. You don't think that those moments do, but they actually start to shape who you
Mhm.
are and actually help you a little later on in life.
This episode is brought to you by Bloom Benefits Group. Bloom Benefits is disrupting employee benefits by rethinking the status quo. They provide exceptional customer service while saving you money. Bloom offers group benefits and retirement products, health and wellness accounts, executive benefits, life insurance, and disability and critical illness. Available to companies across Canada, Bloom helps clients save money without interrupting current plans. Check them out at bluebenefits.ca.
Young professionals, families, and entrepreneurs. What makes Zelos Investment Counsel different? Our independence, client focus, and access. Zelos Investment Counsel is independent from banks and brokerages, which ensures clients' best interests are served without corporate conflicts. We are fiduciary portfolio managers with a duty to clients that doesn't exist in the brokerage model. At Zelos Investment Counsel, we exist to care for our clients, and every day we strive to help our clients reach their goals. We provide our clients with access to institutional investment managers and sector specialists through our proprietary investment structure. For more information, book your no obligation meeting today at zelosglobal.com. That's www.zelosglobal.com.
Attention all car owners. Is the winter weather turning your beloved ride into a rusty relic? Fear not, because we've got the solution you've been dreaming of. Crown Rust Protection. Picture this: your car defying the elements, standing strong against rust like a knight in shining armor. Crown Rust Protection is not just a shield, it's an investment in the longevity and resale value of your vehicle. Don't let rust take the wheel. Book your Crown Rust Protection treatment today and let your car embrace its inner superhero. Call now at 403-291-1951 or book your appointment at www.krown.com. Our skilled technicians are ready to give your car the VIP treatment it deserves. Crown Rust Protection, because your car deserves to age like fine wine, not rusty vinegar.
Yeah. No, hearing you talk about that reminds me of like that statue of the guy chiseling away himself. You know, it's like little daggers of like just finding yourself through adversity and then uncovering who you really are throughout that moment, right? Um, I'm curious though too. So like you have a marketing background now, and you're working leading these teams. You're there for 3 years. Were you working at different companies? How were you getting recruited? Were you looking for the next opportunities? Like
Uh,
walk us through that journey.
yeah, I was looking for the next opportunity because this was a telemarketing company and that's all it focused on. I don't know why I had this obsession to work for Xerox.
Okay.
Uh, I because A, it was one of the best places to be sales trained.
Okay.
So if you were sales trained at Xerox, like you were just people recruiters would want to snap you as soon as they see Xerox on your resume.
Really?
The other thing that that I saw from Xerox from the outside is that I saw other black people in the organization in very senior positions,
Hmm.
mostly in the US. And I had just had this obsession. I said, I've got to find a way to get into Xerox. I really wanted to work there. And so after that stint, the name of the company was called DMS Marketing Services. So after that stint, I moved to another kind of telemarketing company. I actually went and worked as as a sales manager for a company called Revere Seaton. It's now called the Brady Corporation. So
Mhm.
I managed their whole inside sales area. And then I took another job at kind of a telemarketing company because I knew someone there. Because I got let go from Revere Seaton. That was a big shock for me. I actually thought I was getting promoted because sales were doing well, and my boss
Mhm.
came in there and actually got fired, gave me a package and said,
Oh.
"Yeah." So that one was a big wake up call for me about corporate life. And then I ended up getting into Xerox.
Oh, no way.
After
Nice.
I got a call from from one of their recruiters, and I ended up being interviewed for their national. They had a national sales telesales operations, and they needed some sales managers, and they liked my background. I liked them. I interviewed. I prepared like crazy for that interview, and I ended up getting the job.
Good for you. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I was so happy
Yeah.
to be there. That's probably one of my that role there really helped me understand corporately, the corporate life, how to dress.
Mhm.
I have a boss, I had a boss, and his name was Jim Lovey. I'll never forget him. And Jim taught me how to. He actually literally taught me you can't wear a suit like that to work, David. Like these are the types of suits that you need to wear to work. So he was helping me with my with my wardrobe.
Yeah, amazing. Was Xerox everything that you thought it would be and more?
It was 100% everything that they wanted me. And I remember this is back in the late 90s. There was a CEO. The CEO was black.
Mm.
Never seen that before. His name was Rich Barton.
Mm.
And he was, when I saw him come into the room, like when he came into like sales meetings, um, I'd never seen that before, and I went, "This is possible. Like, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be an executive. I want to be in charge of a large business." Yeah, Richard Barton. That was who inspired me. And then there was another CEO. Her name was Diane McGarry. Now she was a woman, and she was amazing too. So I got to see a woman CEO
Hmm.
and a black CEO in the 5 years, 6 years I spent at I think it was 5 or 6 years that I spent at Xerox.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like kind of going back to your friend and his parents as well too, and seeing that as well too. Like when you have that exposure, you now see what's possible,
Yeah,
and now you're seeing somebody that looks like you and where you want to be. Like that probably just like lights that fire, or ignites it, or keeps it going, or whatever that looks like, right? Like can't even imagine. And it's Canada is interesting that way as well too. Like there's lots of different pockets, and I mean corporate Calgary when I was growing up as well too. Very much you don't see many people looking like yourself or myself. In certain roles as well too, right? So when I was pitching to different companies or whatever for websites or whatever, I'm pitching to a lot of just like older like white CEOs basically,
right.
right? And it's funny as well too because when you sound the way you sound on the phone, and then you show up and you look a certain way, they're like, "Oh, I didn't put that together," because there's no accent there, or it's a different accent, or whatever. And then you see kind of judgments happening in real time, and that kind of throws you off confidence wise or whatever as well too, right? So seeing that, you know, is super powerful. Having those role models to kind of get you up there as well too, it's pretty incredible. So I could totally appreciate that. So walk us through Xerox. So you said you were there for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I was there for 5, 6 years, and
Okay.
that was like getting an MBA.
Okay.
My boss Jim Lovey and Paul Thornhill, Louis Gagnon. These are names that I remember. These were my bosses, and I just used to watch the way how they would operate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a work hard, play hard environment, and it was all about getting results. So it taught me to be accountable for your
Mm-hmm.
results and to get
Mm-hmm.
the results, but you were also rewarded with it. So um, I remember uh, going through a presentation with my boss Jim Lovey and Paul Thornhill when you're going over sales results, your sales results of your team. And I remember the one thing, I had some errors with some of my numbers, and they skewered me because of
Mm,
the errors. So going, what I thought you said it was you got like 1.5 million gross profit there, but now it's showing up as 1.8 million. Like, which number is the right number? Is it 1.8
mm,
or is it 1.6? And they skewered me. I mean, I was embarrassed. But they did it. We did it in a safe environment. And the reason why they said that is that your integrity matters, number one. And number two, you have to be bulletproof with your numbers. You can't show that type of inconsistency because
mm,
if you were in front of the board, it causes the board to question what you've got on paper or what you're presenting,
mm.
and it starts to question your credibility.
Yep.
So when you put up numbers like that, make sure that they all tie together and that your presentation is tight. I remember that, and I never ever forgot that lesson. And Xerox
Mm,
was it was a bit of a tough place sometimes, especially if you weren't getting the results on a consistent basis. If you had 3 quarters of poor results, you're probably likely to lose your job.
mm,
It was very sales driven, results oriented organization. But I thrived in that environment because I was working with people that really cared about one another. That was number one. I was working with bosses that didn't care about my color. They cared about me and my team and getting the results. And as such, I won President's Club 3 times. I went to Jamaica, I went to Hawaii, I went to the UK, like all paid for by them,
yeah, nice.
winning President's League. And they were like my bosses were so supportive. There was one time where we were making a move. I was probably there. This is probably in my second to last year. We had to move the telecenter to St. John, New Brunswick. And my boss asked me to head up that whole thing. So he asked me,
Mm,
David, put together a presentation. Let me see your plan on how you're going to get this done. We've already got the real estate over there, but I want to see how you're going to transition this business over without losing a cent in profit and
mm.
disrupted the business. And I remember he laughed at me. He goes, "You go and present it and don't sink the ship." And I remember Hafiz, I was scared. Like I was just like,
Oh yeah.
can I do this? Like, is this possible? Like he has that kind of faith in me. And I remember I put the plan together and I showed it to him early on, like, here's the first draft, here's the second draft, here's the third draft. He goes, this looks solid. Okay, go out there and make it happen. And
Mm,
I was able to make it happen. I surrounded myself with some really good people that really helped me out in terms of making that happen. So we were able to transition the entire business. And that was the year I won President's Club because we were one of the top divisions, amongst one of the top sales performing divisions in Canada. So
yeah. Well.
I was extremely proud of that moment because it taught me if you put your mind to something and you ask for help and you surround yourself by the right people and you're humble and you care about what you're doing, you can make anything happen.
Yeah. No, I love that. Congrats on that as well
Yeah,
too. And
thanks.
you really took the bull by the horns, and
I had to.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty incredible when someone gives you that opportunity, and they're like, you want this, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
go
that's
go
what he
make it
said.
happen. Yeah.
He said, you told me about your career aspirations, David. You want this?
Yeah.
Well, here's a career opportunity for you. That's when he said,
Yeah.
don't, I remember his words said, don't sink the ship. And he laughed like a chuckle.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's a good like pat on the back, like throw you out there, like, all right, go get it,
Yeah.
and feeling supported along the way. Like that's great mentorship.
Yeah, that
You
was Lou
know.
Gang. That was Lou Gagnon. He was very, very supportive. Like all of them, Paul Thornton. That was the one thing I saw about them. Like they were very, very Jim Lovey. They were very, very supportive along the way. Some of the things that they said to you back then probably would be appropriate in the workplace today. But those were different times back then, and that whole experience at Xerox, I really enjoyed. Really,
Mhm.
really enjoyed.
No, it sounds like it.
Why did you leave? Because you went to eight. Did you go to ATB right after that, or what
No,
was that look like? Yeah.
I left because I was still looking for that progression.
Yeah.
And Xerox was a very, very large organization, and I got recruited by a startup software company.
Mm,
And I went and worked for them it lasted about a year. It was probably not a good move for me. And when I look back at it, I probably moved too quickly.
mm,
And I didn't do enough due diligence on the company. I was too excited by the title, too excited by the opportunity, too excited by the people that were actually running the business because they were really good people. And it just was not the right fit for me at that time. I should have stayed on at Xerox, but I did that, and then I went to Dun and Bradstreet and worked there for a few years, and then I went to Pitney Bowes and worked there for about 5, 6 years,
oh well.
and
Okay.
then I ended up at Tangerine Bank, and that's when
Okay.
that was another Xerox for me, um, kind of opportunity at the time. Company really cared about people, cared about its clients, really good leaders in across the table. So I went and worked for it was ING Direct at the time for about 3 years, but I ended up quitting because my boss and our values really clashed.
Mm,
And I remember the day when I resigned, the CEO had offered me a promotion to vice president, and like I could make you a VP if you stay. And I remember turning it down and saying, I don't want to be handcuffed like that, and I've already
mm,
made my decision. Like I didn't want to get the job because you wanted to keep me. I kind of said I want to earn it, and that doesn't feel like I'm earning it. It feels like you're just giving it to me to placate me, and I don't want it that way. I want to earn it.
mm.
And if you thought I was capable of being a VP, why didn't you promote me earlier?
Right.
So I left.
Well, yeah, good for you. That takes courage, especially when someone's handing you a different position
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the
Some
things.
people go, "You crazy?" And I go, and I said,
Yeah,
my values, I just can't do it. I want to earn it. I don't want to be that person. Oh, David quit and he got a promotion. He was threatened to quit and he got a promotion. That's not how I want a promotion. I want to earn it the right way.
totally.
So I left for 2 years, and then there was a new CEO that came on board, and he heard about me, and he hired me back. One thing led to another. I got hired back in the role that I actually wanted.
Mm.
And yeah, and I had a good 10-year run with Tangerine Bank.
Yeah, amazing. And all these roles as well too. Like, was it always around sales and marketing
Yes,
and somewhat related to like the end customer and how to get that product into
exactly.
their hands? Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that work. And the one thing why I also enjoyed that work is that, you know, I was responsible for, like most of the roles, like 400 people, so mid-size organizations for 300
Hmm.
people. But I always made sure that I would always acknowledge people, make them feel seen and heard. And I was very big on helping people's careers along. Like all of my leaders that work with me, one of them is the CEO of Northern Credit Union.
Hmm.
One of them is the COO of Tangerine Bank. One of them is senior vice president at Apollo Insurance. One of them is a vice president at an insurance company. So they all got promoted.
Hmm.
And this is one thing I'm really, really proud about. You know how you sometimes see on LinkedIn a message about sponsorship and I'm sticking up for people. I think it's
Hmm.
sponsorship or mentorship. Yeah. I'm the person that when I'm in a room, like I'll fight for you. So I remember one of this happened to me on 2 occasions where my boss wanted me to hire somebody else. And I said, I really want to hire that person because this is what I see in them. You're not
Hmm.
close enough to this, so you don't see everything that I see
Hmm.
just because you just out of proximity and interacting with them. And I remember getting into a bit of a debate with her, and I said, "Look, you hired me for a reason." I said, "If this person doesn't work out, you can fire me."
Yeah, well,
And
okay.
that was one of the people that's at Tangerine Bank today. I said, I want to hire him. Like, this is the right decision. This is you hired me to make that decision. So let me make the decision. If you don't like the decision, you can get rid of me. That's how I was
Hmm.
speaking to her, speaking
Yeah,
to her.
nice. Yep.
So I'm always the person that fights. I'm not afraid to put myself on the line for what I believe in, especially when it comes to people. Because the way I think about it, Hafiz, I think about what it feels like to go home and you're working in a place where you're miserable. I think about it when you go home and you have to complain about your boss or
Hmm.
complain about the work environment. That's draining. And I don't want to be the catalyst to cause those types of conversations at the dinner table. I want it to be,
Hmm.
what my boss today said I did a great job. You know what my boss did? I want those conversations happening at the table.
Hmm.
The more positive about helping to move people along. Those are the conversations that I want to have at them to have at the dinner table.
Well, totally. It sounds like you've had some amazing mentors along the way, and you still remember them by name, and you've had multiples in this conversation. So if you could be the same type of person for the next person, like paying it forward, what a beautiful thing to keep that going, right? And the work that it sounds like that's been very consistent throughout your entire journey has been empowering others, helping them feel seen, valuing them for themselves, and maybe helping them find their fit along the way as well too. And by providing them opportunities to gain confidence in themselves and the work that they're doing and finding purpose. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
That is 100% accurate because when you do that, people thrive.
Right.
And it goes back to my thing. I'm not a nice guy. I'm kind. So I'm not going to tell you what I think you need to hear. If I need to give you criticism or help you learn from a mistake, we're going to have that
Mm-hmm.
conversation before it turns into a big problem. If you do great things and you're fantastic and you've done something fantastic, I'm going to tell you right there on the spot too. So that's the way how I operate. And sometimes people will look at me and go, why did you say that person's so great? And I said, because I'm kind of, when I speak with a bit of emotion. So when someone does something really well, I want them to know that they did something really
Mm-hmm.
well. That's why I use words like, great, that was fantastic. You did a really good job on that. And let me tell you why.
Right.
Why I believe you did such a great job there. Let me tell you why you made a difference in this. Because I didn't really have a lot of that in my career, except for the few individuals that I worked on, and I just promised myself like, you do that, you pay it forward, because I know what crappy bosses feel like. You do it, you pay
Mm-hmm.
it forward, um, and it works for food. The other person that was also a big mentor in my life, a big influence on me, his name was Larry Smith, and this is when I worked at the 407, which is the toll road in Toronto. I worked there for a very short period of time, but he was also a really good mentor as well.
Yeah. No, amazing. And it's like there's enough people that are going to be negative in your life, and then things that we internalize these things as well too. So if you can be one of those that actually brings the positivity and helps like lift somebody up, those things are also just really felt and remembered. And looking back, people will lean on that as well too in tough times to be like, you know what, David told me like I am worth it, or I'm pretty good at this, or whatever. And they can pull it out of their cookie jar and lean on that as well too, right? In those tough times. So I think it's incredible that you do that and that you're passionate about it and it's become part of your ethos when you're leading these individuals as well too to lift them up. So that's I'm not surprised why you're sought after and bringing into these positions as well too, because like you genuinely do it and you're living it as well too, which
Yeah,
is pretty
it's just
incredible.
it's just all it boils down to is just giving a crap, like caring.
Yeah.
Like, do you care about what you're doing? Do you care about people? It's just really that simple. And I would watch things like, sometimes people would make mistakes on my team, and I would allow them to make the mistake if it's not going to hurt
Mm-hmm.
their career. And then we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about it afterwards because I want them to feel what it feels like to make a mistake or a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And um, if you're working with me, like I create that environment where you can thrive, where you can make mistakes, where I'll watch your back,
Mm-hmm.
where I'll be brutally honest with you. Like I don't sugarcoat things, I don't hide things. I don't like the political games or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're all human beings, and we're all trying to strive to do good things in life. So let's work together and make that happen. That's kind of my
Mhm.
philosophy about doing things.
Yeah, no, I like it for sure, and I think it's a healthy one as well too. Like it's kind of like raising kids as well too. And this is very new to me, but I think about how I want to raise like my daughter. I don't want to give her every single opportunity. I want to give her enough opportunities that she can screw up, but be there to
Exactly.
support, create that safe zone to talk about why. But you have to feel the failure. You have to feel the screw up so you can
Exactly.
internalize it so it doesn't happen again. Otherwise, you'll just
Exactly.
do it and nothing will ever happen, right?
Exactly.
So almost like intentionally kind of throwing a little bit of landmines and watching them with the safety net. Like, I got you, but I'm watching
Yeah.
you walk into that,
Yeah,
right?
and I remember someone go, "You didn't yell at, you don't yell when we make mistakes." I said, "Why would I yell? Like you made a mistake." I said, "What did you learn from it? Let's talk about that." And they'll
Right.
tell me and go, "It's painful," huh? And I go, "Yeah, I know what it feels like to make a mistake. I made a mistake like that before. It's very, very painful."
Yeah.
Um, but the key is learn from it and don't make the same mistake again.
Right. Right. Yeah. I love that. Empathize with them as
Yeah,
well too. It happens to everybody, right? Like
exactly.
that's awesome. So let's talk about the work that you do today, because you've got like your day job. You've created a company that you're working on these things in culture and community, right? But then you're also doing something else, which is the Black Chamber of Commerce as well too. Like talk
Yeah.
about both of these things, because they're both amazing.
Yeah, so the role as president of Calgary Black Chambers, again, the reason why I got involved into this is that I was at one of the award functions probably about 5 years ago, and I saw what they were doing, and I got to speak to people that were involved in the chambers, and I just got motivated by the work, and I just asked them, how can I help? I'll sweep the floors. Like I said, I've donated money, but I can do more than that. Like, however you want to use me. And that's how I got
Mhm.
involved. I just volunteered for them, and continue to volunteer with them. And then one of the presidents, she had left, and I was approached about would this be something that I would be interested in? And I said,
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of experience in this area. I don't understand the nonprofit space well, but I've been board members at various different nonprofits. Um, and I just went through the interview process. The board nomination process was a rigorous interview process of the board nomination process, and I ended up being the winning candidate. And the reason why I'm driven to that work again, it's all about paying it forward. But this is for youth
Mhm.
because the
Mhm.
focus is, if you look at what Calgary Black Chambers is doing, there's a pillar around fellowships, which is making sure that that you create an inclusive enough environment where anyone can come, not just the black community, your allies, and that's why we have the speaker series that we put on every second Thursday of every month, and
Mhm.
that allows the community to get together to talk about things that are affecting them. Like one of them was on artificial intelligence and what that means for the community. One was on mental health. One
Mhm.
of them was on creating wealth. So that's the fellowship, and then we have our awards, and then there's another one on another pillar which is focused on mentorship. So lining up professionals with high school students and mentoring
Mhm.
them, and I'm a mentor of a student as well. So there's mentorships. We have about 60 mentors mentoring 60 students. And then we have scholarships where we put on these fundraising events, the Calgary Black Achievement Awards and the Black History Month dinner that we just had. And those are key events for us to raise funds for the various scholarships. So, you get to meet all the scholarship recipients. You get to talk to them, you get to learn about their journey. And it's all the reason why I'm doing this work, because it's all about paying forward. It's all around helping people. It's, one of the things that we want is for Calgary to be one of the best places for Black people to live, work, and play. We just want it to be one of the best places so that when people think about Calgary and their life and where they want to settle down with life, they think about Calgary as a destination. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it's just paying it forward. It's helping others. I just like helping others. I like serving others and helping others. It's just wrapped up in my DNA. And I
Yeah.
learned that from a very, very, very young age, way back from Marius and his family, just how inviting they were for me, how they helped me out. Like I didn't have any money growing up. I had a little bit of money in my pocket because I was working part-time in their dress factory. So I just
Hmm.
saw that kind of kindness um, from other people. And and then I just said they didn't have to do that for me. Um, and they did it just out of the kindness of their heart. And I was very respectful. They liked that I was a respectful person. And I just said, if ever I get the opportunity where I can help a group of people have a better life or help them thrive, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that it really is like the hero's journey that we talk about, right? Like you go through these things, you find your own path, you figure out what kind of makes you tick, and you come back to the community and you help the next wave and tell your story by showing them your journey and
Exactly.
mentoring and doing all that. So like that entire arc, you're living that as well too, and you've earned the right to talk about it as well too, which is the best part of mentorship because nobody wants to learn or be inspired by someone that hasn't done what they want to do. So that's really cool that you can like they can shadow you and then learn from your journey and your story and the way you continue to evolve as well too, which is pretty amazing. So good for you for being nominated and getting that position. It sounds incredible. You know, like we've had John Cornish on the show here before
Yeah.
as well too, and he's talked about kind of his journey with their the chamber as well too. And when I was at that one dinner with Moose, we were sitting with the founders of the Black Chamber and incredible people, right? And what they've been able to achieve. And one of the gentlemen, I can't remember his name now, but he was the first Black person to be on the Queen's bench, I believe.
Kenny.
Right.
Is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Kenny. And
Kenny. Yeah.
yeah, and even when you think about how Calgary Black Chambers was started, right? That was John Cornish and his wife Kieran,
Hmm.
thinking like, how could they, how could we make this a better place? Like, what can we do to empower Black youth?
Hmm.
And it really started with an idea from those two sitting. I guess they were sitting at the table and they got inspired by Mimi Burr, an MLA that passed away, and the work that he was able to do for the Sikh community.
Yeah.
And they just thought, well, why can't we do something like this for the Black community? And that's how it all got started. And you got all the other founders on there, Clarence Winters and
Hmm.
Charles Buchanan and Michael Lee Hing. There's a whole bunch of them. I know I'm missing some names. John Cornish, obviously, his wife Kieran.
Hmm.
I know Brian Lanier. He was a
Hmm.
past board chair, and he helped co-found the Black History Month dinner that we put on a regular basis. Yeah, it's good. It's fulfilling. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I do DJ. I used to DJ.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I
Okay.
still have my DJ equipment,
Nice.
and I still make mixes. And the reason why I like DJing is I like to see people being happy. So
Oh yeah.
I'm always going to striving towards things where I can see people be happy. Yeah, so I
I
used to
love that.
DJ back in the day with my brothers and in Toronto. Still have my equipment, still make mixes. Um,
Are you on Spotify or like any of these
No,
other
I'm not.
places?
My
SoundCloud?
someone told me my friends and my daughter goes, you've got to share this. Like you're really good at what you do. And
Yeah. I would
yes,
love that. What
yeah,
kind of music do you spin?
mostly house music,
Okay.
the vocal stuff because it's all about having a good time and loving one another.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it's uplifting. I find that music very, very uplifting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember growing up, there was a DJ like everyone knows, like DJ Tiesto,
Yeah,
but there's one album called Just Be that like changed my world, man, because like those uplifting vocals,
yeah.
and that's amazing. What was your DJ name? I gotta ask.
Well, the people called me DJ Bradshaw instead of Bradshaw. But
Okay,
when my brothers and I used to DJ in Toronto, we called ourselves the Paradise Crew.
the Paradise Crew.
Yeah,
Okay,
Paradise Sound Crew.
all right, I like it.
Yeah,
You got to send me some of your mixes. I'm so intrigued.
I would be happy to do that.
I love it. You're like a paradox, man. This is amazing. Like we're just like uncovering all these things, you know? And this is the cool thing about living as well too. Like you don't have to be in a certain box. Just find the things that bring you joy and gravitate towards that and just do more of that. And I think to keep it simple, just do things that how you feel the world needs more of, right? So this is exciting, man. I'm so
Yeah, I
glad
used
we
to DJ
chatted.
I used to DJ at company events. I remember they had a DJ spin-off competition. I'm up there in a suit, in a suit, spinning records. People go like, yeah, yeah. The executive committee that go there goes DJ Bradshaw. Like even
No way.
they would have fun with it. Yeah, the executive
That's
committee
incredible.
at Tangerine Bank.
Good for you, David. That's so cool. Um, I really enjoyed our conversation today. It's been really fun to get to know you and your journey and where you're at today. How do people get in touch? And like we didn't even touch on your actual company that you founded as well too. So before we wrap it up, tell us about the company that you founded and what do you guys focus on, and then we'll wrap it up with like how people can get in touch.
Yeah, so so what we really focus on is again is on customer experience. So still in that same space. So what we do is where companies are having variation in their service in terms of service delivery, in terms of the way how they're interacting with clients, mostly through the phone or in person, because that's where the
Hmm.
rubber kind of hits the road. We help them build customer service frameworks, not scripts, but customer service frameworks, so that they can continue to deliver the service on a consistent basis. And I built them at Tangerine Bank. I built them at ATB Financial. And each time you do that, you really see a significant increase in your customer satisfaction scores. And I've been lucky to work with a bunch of teams where we've won JD Power Awards for service, where we were number one in NPS.
Mm.
So we've seen the actual results from doing that in terms of reducing your customer churn and so forth. And that's work that I love doing. Is
Hmm.
again helping people be successful so that you could treat other people with kindness and respect on from a service perspective. So it's
Yeah,
all that same theme of I just want people to be happy and thriving
yeah. No,
wherever I go.
I love it. The Paradise Crew,
Yeah, yeah,
make it fun and joyous, and chill everywhere you go. I love it.
exactly.
What kind of companies would so for people listening, if they want to reach out to you, like what companies are you, I guess,
It would
looking to
be
work with?
it would be mostly business to consumer, and it would be companies that typically have use contact centers and small, not small, and branch networks to interact with their clients, with their customers, because sometimes even in a face-to-face or virtual channels, like you get a different experience. It's inconsistent
Hmm.
because you get one thing said over the phone, you get one thing said in person, and so what we do is we help you make sure that you have that consistency when you're communicating with customers, so that customers don't have to figure out how to work with you. You need to figure out how to work with the customer, not the
Right.
other way around. So don't put that effort on the customer, put
Hmm.
that effort on yourselves and
Yeah, 100%.
figure out a way to do it. So and mostly business to consumer, and it could be anything from financial services to hospitality, could be anything, business to
Okay,
consumer.
amazing. Well, we'll make sure we share that link. And what's the name of your company?
It's called Bolton Bradshaw.
Bolton Bradshaw. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. We'll definitely put those in the show notes as well too. David Bradshaw, DJ Bradshaw.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
And when I see you again, you could call me DJ Bradshaw. I don't mind that.
It's been an absolute pleasure. You know what I mean? Like it was so nice to get to know you. Thank you again
Yes.
for taking the time to come on. And I certainly got a lot out of this. I'm walking away smiling, and I can't wait to tell my wife about this conversation that we just had. And yeah, well, I'll hopefully see you at the next private exchange or some of these
Yeah.
different events. But Thanks again. I really, really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. You have a wonderful family day.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay.
David,
Take
we'll
care.
see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Between Two Dots by Intention Media. This podcast is co-hosted by myself, Gilbert Bong, and Hafiz Mita. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review wherever you listen.